Claude Code's team plan costs $150 per seat per month, and Cursor's is $40. That's a $110 gap per developer, and if your team has 10 engineers, you're looking at an extra $13,200 a year just to pick the wrong tool. Both tools are moving fast right now, and the gap between them is bigger than the marketing pages it let on. I'm comparing Cursor versus Claude Code across 5 dimensions: debugging speed, IDE integration, context window, pricing, and refactoring accuracy. And every number here comes from verified sources you can actually check. Cursor leads on most tests, but there's one dimension where Claude Code pulls ahead in a way that could completely change the math for your team's codebase. And that one lands in test 3, which I didn't see coming. My name is Brian, and I'm in these tools 12 hours a day, so you don't have to be. I went through the official docs, press coverage, and community reports for both Cursor and Claude Code, and I'm giving you only what the data actually backs up. So this comparison is for developers and teams who are actively choosing between these two right now. You're writing code daily, maybe managing a code base with tens of thousands of lines, and you need to know which tool actually saves you time and money, not just which one has the better marketing page. Test 1 is real-time code execution and debugging speed, and up to 40% faster bug fixes is the number on the table. When your debugging loop is slow, you're not just annoyed, you're burning hours every single week across every developer on your team, and that compounds fast. What I found here is pretty interesting. Cursor's AI modes, YOLO and Autorun, claim up to 40% faster bug fixes and a 30% reduction in debugging cycles. Claude Code can actually be faster for simple tasks if you switch to the Haiku model, which I didn't expect at all. Worth noting, these are blog-sourced claims, not controlled benchmarks. Cursor takes test 1. The 40% faster bug fix claim is the stronger finding, and for day-to-day debugging cycles, Cursor's AI modes give it a real edge. Claude Code's Haiku speed is a partial win, but it's situational, so that puts Cursor up 1-0. Test 2 is IDE integration depth and editor compatibility. Both tools work well with VS Code, sure, but the difference in how deep that integration goes is way bigger than most people realize, and it affects every single edit you make all day long. So here's what I looked at. Cursor is a full VS Code fork, which means it inherits every extension, key binding, and theme you already have. Claude Code uses a plugin for VS Code. On JetBrains, it's actually closer, and what surprised me is that Claude Code's JetBrains plugin has better documented features, including interactive diff viewing and diagnostic sharing. Now, the gap here is smaller than it looks if you're a JetBrains user. Claude Code's plugin for IntelliJ and similar IDEs is more documented than Cursor's equivalent. So if your team isn't on VS Code, this test is a lot closer to a toss-up than the overall score suggests. Cursor wins test 2. Being a full VS Code fork is a deeper integration than any plugin can match. And for the majority of developers on VS Code, that's the one that counts. That puts Cursor up 2-0, though the JetBrains caveat is real. Test 3 is context window size and multi-file handling, and 200,000 tokens is the number that matters. When your context window runs out mid-refactor, the model starts forgetting earlier files, and your agent starts making changes that break things it already fixed 3 files ago. What surprised me here is how big the gap actually is. Claude Code supports 200K tokens by default and up to 1 million with Sonnet 4. Cursor sits at 128K normally and around 200K in max mode. I thought they'd be pretty close going in, but Claude Code's ceiling is way higher, so take the 1M figure with a grain of salt since it comes from press coverage, not a controlled test. Claude Code takes test 3. The context window gap is real and it's not close. 200K plus versus 128K standard, and a ceiling of 1 million tokens if you need it. That's 2 for Cursor, 1 for Claude Code now, and this is the test that keeps Claude Code relevant for large codebases. 2 tests left, and the next one is pricing, where that $110 per seat gap from the open finally gets the full breakdown. Stick around because the team cost difference is the thing most people don't find out until after they've already committed to a plan. Test 4 is pricing transparency. $150 per user per month is what Claude Code's team plan costs, according to DevToolsAcademy.com. And that's the number that should make any engineering manager stop and do the math before signing up, because at 10 developers, that's $18,000 a year. So I looked at both pricing pages closely. Cursor publishes clear tiers. Hobby is free, Pro is $20 a month, Pro Plus is $60, Ultra is $200, all with documented usage allowances. Claude Code doesn't have its own pricing page. It requires a paid Claude subscription, and the team seat is $150 per user. The transparency gap here was bigger than I expected. Cursor wins test 4, and it's not close. $40 per user per month versus $150 is a real difference, and Cursor's tiers are documented clearly by third-party sources. Claude Code's team plan comes out to nearly 4 times the cost, which honestly caught me off guard. So that's 3 for Cursor, 1 for Claude Code. Test 5 is accuracy on complex refactoring. Community reports put Cursor's agent mode at handling 50,000 lines of code in a few hours. And when a refactor goes wrong across dozens of files, you're not just fixing bugs, you're untangling changes. The agent made 3 steps back that you didn't catch in time. Okay, so this one was interesting because the winner wasn't as obvious as I thought going in. Cursor's agent mode handles multi-file refactors well, with community reports of 50K lines in hours using Composer 2.5. Claude Code's strength is deep reasoning for things like framework migrations and architecture-level changes. Neither has published benchmark scores, so I couldn't find hard accuracy numbers for either tool. This one's a tie. Both tools handle complex refactoring, just differently. Cursor with long-running agent work, Claude Code with deeper reasoning over large projects. Neither beats the other on hard numbers because those numbers don't exist yet. So the final score is Cursor 3, Claude Code 1, one-tied. Cursor wins on debugging speed with up to 40% faster bug fixes using YOLO and auto-run modes. It wins on VS Code integration as a full fork that inherits every extension you already use. And it wins on pricing, $20 a month for individuals, $40 per user for teams, with clear documented tiers. Claude Code wins on context window size, 200K tokens by default, up to 1 million with Sonnet 4, versus Cursor's 128K standard. It wins on simple task speed by switching to Haiku, and it wins on deep reasoning for architecture-level refactoring across large, complex codebases where understanding the whole project matters. The $110 per seat gap at the team level is just hard to ignore, and the final score reflects that. If you need speed, transparent pricing, and deep VS Code integration for daily coding, go Cursor, $40 a month, clear tiers, faster debugging. If you're working on a massive codebase and need a 200K plus context window with architecture-level reasoning, Claude Code is worth the higher cost, and for monorepos, neither tool is great yet. I ran Claude Code against GitHub Copilot next, and the context window advantage that just won Claude Code, its only test here, completely flips the pricing math in that matchup. It's a different story, and that one's already on the channel if you want to see how it plays out.